Hey guys, it's Will Hepburn, Will Hepburn Photography. Today I wanted to show you guys how I use the adjustment brush to adjust the exposure in certain areas of my photo. So right here we have, this is just straight out of camera. This is the raw file, and you can actually see a little modifier that I had right up here where my light was. And I can show you guys how to crop that out really quick. Or we can always take it into Photoshop and adjust it there. But there we go. Okay, so let me actually bring that out a little bit. Okay, so that looks a lot better. So basically what I wanted to show you guys today is whenever we go over here to the adjustment brush, and the cool thing about this little brush is that you can change all sorts of things. So if you just wanted to use it to adjust exposure on certain areas of the model, you can do that. If you want to just solely adjust the contrast, highlights, shadows, the saturation, the sharpness, whatever you're really wanting to do, you can just apply it to that brush. So today specifically, we're going to look at the exposure brush. So what I'd like to do is let's go back to actually the main, this is our little basic model that we have, module, sorry about that. So let's experiment with something. So I'm actually going to bring the exposure down. And what you're going to notice is when we bring the exposure down, we're bringing the entire image. We're making it much darker than it was before. But the cool thing about that is that we're actually being able to see the details in the sky. So you can see the clouds, you can see the blue sky. All of that is still intact. So what we can do from here is we go to our adjustment brush. We've already got exposure selected. So we have a decent size that we've adjusted down here for our brush. What we can do is we can just begin painting on. And this is a really cool technique to use. It's really simple because basically what you're doing is you're allowing this brush to make your model basically kind of pop out of the image. They're going to really stand out from the background. So say if you have a really dark background, this would be a really neat way for your model to be able to, I don't know if I would say have a 3D pop, but you can just make them stand out a lot more in the image. Because sometimes if you'll notice, like you take a picture and the models, the entire image just kind of seems like it's just a little bit flat, like there's really not a whole lot of dimension to it. So what we can do here, and this is a really simple tool that we can use, but let's just go right here and we can just bring the exposure up a little bit. We can adjust the contrast if we want to. We can adjust the highlights. And I'll have to apologize because my Lightroom has been a little bit slow here lately. So I probably need to look at actually taking some photos off of my computer or trying to do some transfer so I can get some more space on here. So anyway, basically what I did was I first adjusted the exposure. I kind of played around a little bit with the contrast and the highlights. Adjusted the shadows, the whites, the blacks a little bit. But you can also adjust the clarity. You can actually, adjust the saturation. So say if I was wanting to make my model look much cooler temperature-wise, then you kind of bring it to the left. But if you wanted to kind of make her look really, really tan and almost orangish, which I wouldn't really recommend. But you may want to just bump it up just a little bit, just to kind of bring some more vibrancy to the image, and just really kind of make your model stand out a little bit more in the picture. So here we go right here, which I think this looks pretty good. You might actually, let's see, we might want to bring the shadows up just a little bit and just get some more details out of the hair. But yeah, I mean, that's just a really simple way to go about fixing it. You know, if you're wanting to get more details in your background, because sometimes what you'll run into is you'll take an image and maybe you didn't have very, I guess you didn't have your shutter speed up quite high enough, and you'll notice that you'll blow out your background, and basically your background's going to be really white. It's not really going to show any details in the sky. Unless you're going for that desired look, a lot of times I just like to be able to see the clouds and the sky, and that's why I typically set my lighting up to where you can actually take advantage of those details in the background. So let's kind of see a little before and after. So if you see right here, you know, the flash looks pretty powerful on her skin. You know, there's a lot of shadow in her hair. You just see this background is just very, very, very white and bright. You know, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think this looks a lot better because you can, you know, you can clearly see there's a sky there, and you really bring back a lot of that detail in the image. So anyway, guys, this is basically all I wanted to do in this video, was to show you guys how to use the exposure brush and how you can adjust it to however means necessary to improve a photo and really bring a lot of details back in your image that maybe you lose shooting straight in the camera. So Lightroom is just an amazing tool. You can really take advantage of so many different aspects of the program, and it really can make a night and day difference in your images. So anyway, I hope you guys really like this tutorial. Like I've said before, please go over, check out my Instagram, Will Hepburn Photography. I also have a website, willhepburnphotography.com. You can also find me on Facebook. Feel free to add me. Feel free to ask me any questions. Let me know anything that I can help you guys with, and I'd like to eventually do some tutorials where I'm showing you guys how I go about lighting a scene, how I go about posing the model, just kind of basically like a step-by-step tutorial on how I go about shooting. So anyway, hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. I'm glad you guys have stuck here with me and been watching these tutorials. I can't wait to continue producing more tutorials to help you guys out. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to y'all soon. Thanks.